Hi there, and welcome to Dork Wars Live, your galactic hub for all things Star Wars and more. My name is Blake, and I am glad to be with everyone. Thank you guys for joining me. First off, I have to introduce my guests. I have some awesome guests here. First off, you know him, you love to hate him. Joker voice.
That's right, folks. I'm back. Did you miss me?
I don't think so. I don't think anyone missed. But
you did. You did miss me.
I like you. I think you're awesome. That's why I keep having you on the show. Of course.
I know.
But we're actually
for views too.
We're actually talking. It's good for views too, because people tune in just to hate on JV sometimes, which is cool. But we're actually talking about some stuff that Joker Voice likes, if I'm not mistaken.
True story.
He likes this stuff, guys.
The stuff that was good, not the recent shit.
Yeah, well, we'll get to that. And we also have Beard of Liberty on. First time on the show. Welcome.
Hi, thanks for having me. Hopefully I can keep up with y'all.
It's gonna be tough with JV, man. Like he's always
I think so.
Going.
When in doubt, I'll just let him carry it.
Hey, exactly. Sometimes I don't even have to talk for like 5 minutes. It's great. But we also have an awesome chat. And I see first time ever Corey Cochran. Thank you for joining us.
That's from my channel.
It is. It's from the links. I can see who's linked up. Right. So that's awesome. Andrew, what's going on? I don't know if Andrew's ever actually commented on all. I think he has. But Andrew is actually part of Dork Wars, the podcast. He is on our audio only. We have Dragon Buddy, General Dragon Buddy. Yeah. And of course, Lunar Girl in the chat as well. Allons-y. Yeah. And we also have Zombie Main in the chat. So thank you very, very much for joining us. This is going to be a heck of a show, guys. I am pumped. So let's go and get into some nerdy news. Now hear this.
Now hear this.
Now hear this.
Now you hear this, whoever you are.
All right, so first up in our news, The Marvels ends its box office run as lowest grossing MCU movie in history.
Okay, that title is kind of a misnomer. It's still running. It just means that Disney is no longer going to report or really record their international and global numbers. Yeah, this film is a disaster on an epic scale. This film, I just checked the numbers about a half hour before we came on here. It is still in its fourth weekend under $200 million.
Ooh.
This film will probably not reach. This film will probably top out at $225 million, which means about 112.5 million coming back to Marvel. This film will probably be a loss when all is said and done.
Yeah.
$300 million loss.
Dude, that's insane. I mean, like, you got to think the MCU was just a phenomenon in years past. I mean, of course, phases 1 and 2 and 3 were fantastic. And then you get into phase 4 and phase 5, and it just kind of died off.
Not one film from Marvel Studios post Endgame has turned a profit. That's 9 films in a row. It's not over. It's not over. It's not over saturation. It's just bad storytelling.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I think it's both. I honestly think it's both, because after Endgame, you hit this high note, and then you just you have to restart, of course. And they didn't restart like they should have. They tried to quickly get things back together to get some more of those crossover things going. And
the worst thing that could have happened to Marvel, and I say, and it's the same thing, it's the worst thing that happened to Star Wars, is Disney Plus.
Yeah, and I agree. And Lunar Girl, I will say before we get to it, We're not talking about the new stuff. The
New. That's a
'cause I hadn't
disaster.
seen it. I hadn't seen the new stuff that's on Disney Plus. I hadn't seen it.
I won't see it.
Yeah, so I haven't seen
Here's-
it. We're talking about
here's-
old Christmas.
here's-
We're talking about
Beard's the same way. Good
No.
man, Beard.
I didn't see any of
Jody.
Dr. Karen. So
Yeah, we were on the show on Thursday over on Roman of the Empire, and we were talking about what is the current state of Doctor Who is, and it's not good. And again, financed by Disney. Shocking.
Well, we're gonna get there. We're gonna get there. I didn't want LG to check out early if she didn't want to. You know.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Oh no, my whole thing just froze up. Not for. Oh, here we go. This is nuts. Sorry. Just UI. It's me. It's me. I'm doing stupid stuff here. It's Sonic.
It'll happen.
So, anyways, back to in-game. Yeah, there were some decent tales out there, but my attention was broken at in-game. We're going back to the MCU stuff. I think I really liked most of WandaVision. I thought it was very innovative at the beginning, and it ended kind of funny. But
last four episodes, drop the ball.
yeah,
yeah,
because it was different enough to hold your attention at the start because you had questions, and then they just decided that they didn't care about any of that and gave you the worst answers.
Well, and then when you got the when they talked to the writers, and the head writer when asked, are we going to get an appearance from Mephisto, and she said, "Who's that?"
Yeah, yeah, that's
and her response was, "Well, I thought Grief was a good enough antagonist," and I'm like, "Grief's not an antagonist. That's an emotion."
Yeah. I just
this is what happens when you let the women write films. I'm kidding. Joke.
Peel that one back quick. No, I don't think so. I do think that there were some good stories, like I said, and yeah, I think so. I like Moon Knight.
Werewolf. Moon Knight was a shit show.
Of Mandalorian. Thank you for joining us. First time.
Moon Knight was was absolutely MCU top to bottom. And yes, folks, I said MCU because they took a character of obscurity called the Scarlet Scarab and banked on the fact that you had no idea who that character was, so we're gonna make it a woman. And yet she was the one who would get Mark Spector out of problems and the whatnot. She was the girl with the plan the entire time. Come on, call balls and strikes.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I like parts.
And plus,
I didn't get into Moon Knight. I dropped it pretty early on.
And plus, the titular character. That's right. I said titular character of Moon Knight was only in the 8 episodes for a whopping 20 minutes.
Yeah, he wasn't in there a lot. That was one of my main complaints. I thought the story itself was pretty good. It was standalone. It didn't connect to anything. I enjoyed it.
Thank God.
I thought Hawkeye was pretty good. It was a pretty good story.
Hawkeye was still a bait and switch. You got you got the attention of Hawkeye, which is the least popular of an Avenger, but in the opening credits and the opening scene, you know right away this is not a Hawkeye story. This is the introduction to Kate Bishop.
Yeah, and maybe they should have called it that.
Which I will say, I will say to the credit of Haley Steinfeld, she took an unlikable comic book character and made her tolerable.
Yeah, I like Hawkeye. Like you said, he was not like the main character.
He wasn't at all. He was the sidekick
Yeah, he was a sidekick in a lot of the action-y type stuff.
in his own show. In his own show.
I agree with you. I think what we got was good, but they should have named it something different. They should have marketed it differently. But yeah, those are probably my top. And I enjoyed Loki season 2 in comparison to Loki season 1.
Loki is the worst of all the Disney Marvel offenders.
We're getting the hate out of the way, folks. We're letting JV we're letting him steam off before we get to Doctor Who.
At the risk of setting him off even more, I didn't like, but I did not hate Loki season 2. It was better once I got made myself see it as a standalone story that was completely removed from all other MCU projects. Because once you do that, then it doesn't matter how convoluted it is and how overpowered, and he could undo everything that has been done and basically rewrite everything. If you just see it as its own self-contained story, it's kind of okay. It's still a whole bunch of insufferable, frowny characters. But there were bits in there that I didn't hate.
The problem with Loki season 2 is it's a continuation of Loki season 1, which made phases 1, 2, and 3 completely irrelevant.
Yeah. I mean, you got to jump the shark sometime.
And that's not a good thing to jump the shark.
No, that's what I'm saying. I didn't say it was. I didn't say it's a good thing. I don't think it is a good thing. And I think that's, you got to get bigger, you got to get better, you got to do more and more and more to keep people's attention. Or so you think. I don't think that's the case of the MCU, but they have tried to do that, and I think that it's all kind of unraveling at this point.
The unraveling of Disney. It's been glorious this past year. Glorious. Absolutely glorious. 8 major motion pictures, each with a minimum $200 million production price tag. I said minimum because once we get the final numbers, these production budgets have exploded. Factor in the marketing, and Disney in this last calendar year, not their fiscal year, their calendar year, has lost $1.2 billion at the box office.
They got some issues going on over there. They do.
The issue is Kevin Feige.
Yeah. Oh man. But we can hope and pray that they see the error of their ways and turn this thing around. But
Disney's going to be the last. Is going to be the last to the course correction party if they ever show up.
Oh yeah, I agree with you. I don't think it's going to happen. That's why I said hope. I would like to see that happen, but you never know.
Yeah, they're going to look at all the numbers and the money they're losing, and they're not going to learn the correct things. They're not going to learn what they actually need to do. They'll overcorrect a different direction and blame everybody else for being bad fans, just like normal.
Which is part and parcel for Disney, which I want to say. So, Blake, what are your thoughts on? I'll say maybe you have somewhat of still lingering affection for this guy, but I know folks in the chat just love this man.
Oh, yeah.
That Dave Felony is now the number 2 at Lucasfilm.
Man, I think Dave Filoni has talent, and we saw that talent in Clone Wars. We saw that talent in Rebels.
Okay.
We saw it. Let me wait. You asked my thoughts. Okay. Let me get my thoughts out there.
Okay.
He has talent, but I don't think that he should be in charge of lore. I don't think he should be in charge of writing what comes next, because as we have seen, especially with like Ahsoka, if you're ready to see Ahsoka in everything, she's going to become immortal. She's going to be in every show, every movie, reference something.
Shoot me now.
Right? He loves his characters. He loves his characters. His characters. I agree. He loves his characters, and will put them in everything. and will revolve the stories and make them the focus instead of, like your legacy trio of characters, Luke, Han, and Leia, Anakin, Obi-Wan, all those. It kind of pushes them to the side. Even in Ahsoka, man, Anakin was kind of pointless to me. I mean, did he look cool? Good points. Yes, he looked cool. They had some flashy stuff in there, but no substance.
But that arc had already been completed.
Right. I agree. Totally agree.
And Beard and I were on the same channel every week talking about that dumpster
we suffered
fire.
through that together.
That was a cope thing for us.
Yeah.
So, just a little side note here, because I know a lot of y'all give Dave credit for writing the Clone Wars, writing Rebels. That's actually not true. I heard this claim and I did my own homework and researched. Out of the about 230 episodes of both Clone Wars and Rebels, about 230 episodes total. Take a guess at how many episodes Dave Filoni actually wrote.
It can't be very many, or you wouldn't be putting this out there like this.
Blake?
Sorry. So what was that very last? So I'm trying to get I got a kid back there. He's trying to come out of the room. So I heard. Last thing I heard, Dave Filoni, out of the 200 and some episodes of Rebels, was there that many?
Just of Clone Wars and Rebels, about 230, about 230 episodes. Guess how many Dave Filoni actually wrote?
I'll say 25.
You're exactly right.
Oh, really?
Yeah, about 10%.
Wow.
I was taking a stab.
About 10%. So Dave Filoni doesn't have a lot of writing credit. Now, interesting, since Dave has this new shiny title, but he's basically doing the same. That's fine. But he's basically doing the same. But he's basically doing the same job as he's been doing. Yeah. So and, I mean, now wait. Hold on, because here it comes, folks. Now he is more involved at the inception phase. So he has his fingers in everything. And by the way, it's not just Star Wars, which they've already killed Willow and Indiana Jones. So I mean, really, what else does Lucasfilm has? So he is involved with everything. He is more directly involved with Kathleen Kennedy, as it was said in the Vanity Fair article. He has more creative control than Kathleen Kennedy does. This sounds somewhat familiar, because this happened similarly under the Disney umbrella over at Marvel with someone named Victoria Alonso. Right. She got a shiny new job title. She basically did the same job. She was elevated to the number 2 spot right behind Kevin. But what she really got, she got to be the fall guy. Yeah. So when Andor season 2 bombs, when the Acolyte bombs, when the Rave film bombs, and everyone looks to Kathleen, it wasn't me. It was Dave. It wasn't me. Yeah. It was Dave. It wasn't me. It was Dave. Don't be surprised if Dave Filoni ends up taking the blame and gets shit canned.
I mean, I'm just going to tell you, man, I don't like the state of Star Wars as a whole right now. I don't like exactly where it's going. The end of Ahsoka is really weird.
Dumb.
Yeah, I just dumb. It ends.
You can say it's dumb.
I thought it was dumb, personally. If you guys enjoyed it, that's great. And there's parts, and so it was weird, right? And there's parts of Ahsoka I enjoyed. There are parts. On the whole, I don't think it really went much. You know, it
And-
didn't go very many places for me.
And
Um,
and I think everyone can agree, at least here on the panel here, that enjoyment is one thing. That is completely a subjective thing.
right.
Objectively successful, you cannot justify the spending that Disney does to make these products with such a low return, either in dollars or audience size. You cannot justify spending $200 million on an 8-episode series. Can't justify anymore.
I will say this: I tend to focus on more of the entertainment side of what happened in the story. That I like the story, reviews. That's where Dork Wars kind of hangs out most of the time. Now, these discussions are important too. The business side, did it make money? Is it successful monetarily? Because that's what's going to push for more of this stuff, is the monetary value. So if the money's not coming in, they're not going to make more. Or they will make more until they run out of money.
They're there.
One or the other.
They're there.
So, and now the ball's in their court on that. So let's hope it goes up from here. Like I said, if you enjoy all this, so that's great. And I like to focus on the things I enjoy. If you go back and listen to our Ahsoka stuff, you'll hear me talk highly about some parts of Ahsoka, but you will also hear what I didn't like. But I try not to just throw it out because nobody wants to hear someone just rattle on about something they hate for an hour and a half.
No, and even folks in my sphere, I'll let this, and I've said it before on the show, we want these things to be successful.
Oh yeah, we do.
We want them to be successful.
Well, despite what you guys think out there, JV loves Star Wars and Marvel. He loves those things.
I probably love it more. I'll say it here to those in the chat. I love it more than all of you combined.
That's right, dude. He's got a Darth Vader hug me pillow.
Twice. Two of them.
Two of them. Got Palpy and Vader,
It's the more of a mall invader, but that's fine.
Mall invader. But I tell you, man, I hope it gets better before it gets worse. But at the same time,
it can't get much worse.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Careful, Disney's going to say, "Hold my beer."
Right.
Well, you know what? Well, it's funny you say that, Beard, because Bobby Iger was at a nice little, I guess, CEO summit kind of thing hosted by the New York Times, and got asked a question about pulling advertising from good old Twix.
Oh yeah.
And we know who came on right after Bobby. That was Elon Musk.
Yeah, Elon Musk.
Oh, that was fantastic.
That was just gold.
And we don't usually use very obscene language on this show, but he basically told Iger to go. No, basically. Sorry, it is basically quote. Because that's what it was. He literally said, "Iger,
go fuck yourself."
That's literally with Jay.
Oh, which by the way, I know a lot of you guys don't know this guy, but Lofty Pixels made a Beard nose.
Yes, it's
he made this little clip of taking that Elon Musk thing to Who Wants to Be a Millionaire and splice that together, and it was glorious. Absolutely glorious.
Oh my goodness. Oh man. But what you gonna do? It's
laugh.
It's not.
Laugh and watch it burn. Laugh and watch it burn.
That's all that's left.
Mm-hmm.
That's all that's left at this point. Well, it is at this point in the show that I must tell you that Dork Wars Podcast has a merchandise store.
Merchandising? What's that?
Merchandising. Come, I'll show you. Open up the store.
We've got Dork Wars the t-shirt, Dork Wars the hoodie, Dork Wars the coffee mug, and yes, we even have Dork Wars the TARDIS That's not true at all. I wish we could work out all the wibbly wobbly, timey wimey stuff, but we haven't quite yet. But we do have things like this nice trucker hat. I think it's the first time I've worn it on a live. We got some cool, got some nice stuff up there on the webs, and you can find all of that stuff at dorkwarspodcast.com. If I could
do you have a Dork Wars Sonic?
A Dork Wars? No, we do not. We don't have any Dork Wars Sonic anything. Yeah.
A Dork Wars.
We haven't worked out Sonic technology either.
A Dork Wars K9.
No. I would really like a
K9.
Like a Dork Wars Rose Tyler. That would be cool. But
not mad at that. Not mad at that.
Yeah, not mad at that at all. Look at that. This is something he likes. There's something JV likes. Oh my gosh, it's her. But anyways, check us out on dorkwarspodcast.com. There you can find all the places that we are. We're on Facebook. We're on the Twix, as we like to call it, Twitter, X, the whole weird thing.
Twix.
Instagram. We're on all of it. So just type in dorkwarspodcast.com and you will find all of it. We will do this later in the show, but I always like to let my guests say where they can find them on the World Wide Webs, where you can see more of them. So if you want to see more of JV Joker voice, where can we find you, JV?
Oh, I'm kind of old hat out here. Let me go after Beard. Beard is the guest here.
Well, I try to save the best for last. Is usually what I do. But
that's why I'm going afterwards.
We'll make an exception to the rule this time. Then, Beard, where can we find you at?
Oh, I'm pretty active on Twix, as y'all say. Political commentary, social commentary, kind of things like that. Whatever makes me laugh or angry, kind of like we do here on YouTube. And you can also find me over pretty frequently on After the Weekend movie reviews with JT Gunn and Art Akey. We do movie reviews, and then on every Monday, and then on every other Saturday, we kind of have a kind of what's in the news roundup. Yeah,
fantastic.
Weekend Harder. Yeah.
Which I believe your first Weekend Darker was when I was on and we did the Thundercats casting.
I think that might be true.
Oh,
I think that was a good time. As soon as we announced that's what we were doing, he basically just clawed his way in and said, "I'm not."
I begged. I begged. Groveled.
Please let me be a part of this.
Yes.
Oh man, yeah. That's old JV. But also, man, I really enjoy After the Weekend. Very good show. Used to catch a lot of it. I need to catch back up. It's been a minute. And JV, where can we find you? I'll put your stuff back up now.
Well, you can find me on the YouTubes at the Joker Voice. Coming up on 2 years being on YouTube. Monday will be my 49th episode of last week's news. Now you can also find me on Twix down below there as well. And it's pretty much I'm just advertising my channel and the whatnot. So again, if you like a little salt in your food, come check me out.
Awesome. Well, Dork Wars, a podcast, is also part of a brand new podcasting network. Yeah, I ain't got you yet. You're coming though. Recently, we announced a couple shows ago that we are now part of the Subculture Podcast Network. A founding member, actually, started not too long ago. Some other great pods. So here's our promo.
This show is part of the Subculture Podcast Network. For pop culture and entertainment podcasts, go to bio.link/subculturepodnetwork. Prepare to be entertained.
Oh yeah.
I still think the portable hole needs to change its name. I'm just saying.
Type that into Google. Who knows what you'll find, But for For Beard of Liberty, for Joker Voice, for the Subculture Podcast Network, for Dork Wars a Podcast. Like and subscribe. Hit the like button. Hit the subscribe. Just like and subscribe and like. Oh yeah, more. It's cleansing the air. Only the best thing to come out of the sequel trilogy. Right
No,
there.
there's nothing. That was good.
It is. I made it good.
No,
JV.
no,
I made it good.
no.
I'm gonna play it. I'm gonna play it again before we end, just to make you mad. Love you, bro. Love you. But
Love you,
tonight,
man.
we
Yes.
are talking about something that we all really, really like, and that is Doctor Who. We are going to be talking the Doctor Who Christmas specials. Oh, yeah. What some of you folks may not know is that I am a huge Doctor Who fan. Love Doctor Who. And I got started probably like a lot of people did my age on the New Who that premiered in 2005.
05, yes.
Yeah. When the reemergence of Doctor Who. And I'm telling you, man, when it hit hard. It was... I don't exactly know why classic Doctor Who was canceled. I have no idea.
Okay, since I'm a bit older than all of you guys, my introduction to Who was the Tom Baker run. It was shown on PBS, and this is a 60-year-old show, so it ended its television run in 1989. Just the show quality, the effects. Again, it was made on a very low budget. The Last Doctor being Sylvester McCoy, and it had more of a stage play feel to it than an actual living, breathing science fiction TV show, because the technology, at least here in the United States, had advanced quite a bit. So then we get the 1996, made for the Americans got a hold of Doctor Who, and they made a TV film, which, if that's the first introduction to Doctor Who you ever got, I'm sorry. You had Paul McCann, who later on went to do a lot of audio books and stuff about the Doctor, and he's done very well with that. And then you had Eric Roberts playing the Master. Oh dear God in heaven. And then Russell T Davies picked it up with the BBC and did a reboot in 2005, and he had a lot more money to spend. Still not quite as much as the American studios did, but it was a very well written show, and this is what makes this current iteration that he's done so disappointing. Is Russell T Davies knows Doctor Who.
Yeah,
he knows it, and so
he kind of reaffirmed and created new lore for Doctor Who. I mean,
yes, and then it got handed and then it got handed off to Moffat, who say what you will about Moffat. He gave us the 50th anniversary episode, and he gave us the Weeping Angels, one of the most just
nice,
greatest Doctor Who adversaries of all time. And then the reins were handed off to the Jodie Doctor showrunner. And yeah, and then the rest is dismal history.
Right.
Hmm.
I love some Weeping Angels, man.
Right?
It's scary. But yeah, I agree, man. I agree. I haven't kept up with recent Doctor Who. So not recent Doctor Who.
Don't.
But
Yeah, I didn't even make it through Capaldi's last season.
yeah.
I heard that there was something in there that was worth it, but it just started off so slow, and
Yeah.
I couldn't get into it.
That's kind of where I ended. I ended with Capaldi. I've seen bits of the Jodie Whittaker. Yeah, I don't know. I just can't get into it myself.
Nice.
Silence.
I have lots of these.
So,
Popping up.
we'll just keep talking. They'll just come up.
All right, I'm gonna have to put a mark down every time you show the silence.
Well done, sir. Well done. Yes. And then, but one thing that Davies did, and continued through Moffat and continued through all Present Who, is Christmas specials, and these were something that became like actual events. I mean, these had a longer runtime, and usually were the vehicle to introduce something new and something cool. Sometimes a brand new Doctor. So
yeah, the Christmas specials really did kind of I'm still real. I had to get my daughter to her mother. She was being crazy. But those Christmas specials really did kind of move on to like the next stories a lot of times, or definitely the next Doctor. And I know one that we're definitely going to be talking about tonight is the Christmas Invasion. It's the one that started it all, because there wasn't before the New Who, there wasn't like a yearly Christmas special. They didn't have very many specials at all.
Right.
Even in the 24 or 5 years that it was on. But the Christmas Invasion did so well that it created an avenue for there to be a yearly Doctor Who Christmas special. It became a tradition because of that one. It did so well. You have the first change of the Doctor. The first change of the Doctor came in the previous episode, which was Parting of the Ways. But really the introduction of the new Doctor in Christmas Invasion.
And I believe David Tennant was at the time just a up and coming actor.
Oh yeah, I mean, he hadn't done much.
He wasn't a household name yet, and then he goes on. Then he goes on to marry Five's daughter later on down.
Four's daughter. Tom Baker's 4, isn't he?
Married Five's. No, Tom is 4. He married Davidson's daughter.
Okay, I don't know why I thought you'd marry Tom's daughter. See, look, I'm all messed up. But no, very cool. And I think too, just kind of, I know this is more of Doctor Who in general, but when they came up with the regeneration into a new Doctor, such a smart move. I mean, this show can go on indefinitely forever now because
you know why they did that. Well, you know why they did that, right?
Well, Hartnell was so old.
Okay. So he was having health issues, so he was not allowed. He could not continue. But the show got greenlit for another 2 seasons, so they couldn't just stop it. So they had to find a way to keep the Doctor fresh. Going.
And in that one move, they made it possible to do Doctor Who indefinitely. So I think that was a very good, very, very good move on their part. But yes, this is the introduction of David Tennant, who is, of course, a lot of people's favorite Doctor.
Correct.
He's one of the best. And I'm not gonna lie to you, man. I almost really don't have one. Like I do, I say I do, and then I change, and then I say I do, I change, and it's really hard for me.
He has the second longest seasons under his belt as the Doctor. He has the longest runtime as the Doctor. Tom Baker is still the first. He had Tom Baker had 7 seasons, and David Tennant had 5. The Tom Baker episodes were half an hour, though.
Yeah, and David Tennant did not even want to go. Like he wasn't even done playing the Doctor. He didn't want to stop.
I don't want to go.
Yeah, I want to go. That was a that was a true and honest line. I mean, that's man, and he does such a great job with the character. He's so charismatic. He's so he's so unique. Like you just can't put your finger on it. He's like all over the place, but at the same time, he's also right there focused in. It's nuts how he plays the character. And it's anything that David Tennant does. I mean, he just puts himself into his characters.
I will say that the strongest thing with David Tennant is the banter back and forth with, especially with the companions. And it didn't matter who it was. It could have been Rose. It could have been Martha. It could have been Donna. But the banter back and forth, just the chemistry, Martha a little less, but Rose and Donna definitely they didn't skip a beat. It was very, very, very believable. And since we're at the Christmas invasion, why don't we start there?
But that's I've already started. That's where we're going.
Okay. So
I think we're going.
Right. Okay. So
I think clock's running.
So, okay. Favorite part of that episode?
Oh, for me? Oh, man. It's got to be when the hand gets cut off and he regenerates it. It's
a fighting hand.
Yeah, this fighting hand. I love it. It just that sticks in my mind when I think he's got the sword and he gets his hand cut off and he's in the pajamas. I'm always that part always sticks out in my mind when I think about that episode.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's so many good things in that episode that I could fall back on. Just so many single moments that could be my favorite. But I think because I scrubbed through a bunch of these episodes today, just to refresh my mind, and I think actually when he's laying in bed, and that it's ridiculous because a Christmas tree is attacking them, and Rose leans down and says, "Help me," and he immediately jumps into action. That's like the most Doctor thing. He hears "help me" and he doesn't hesitate to act.
Yeah,
right. I like.
What's your favorite? What's your favorite part, James?
Me?
Yeah.
Okay. When Rose is talking to the Sycorax, and there's obviously a language barrier, and then all of a sudden the head, the alpha, all of a sudden starts speaking English, and they're like, "Wait, that's English. I would never speak English. I only speak Sycoraxy." But if I'm hearing English, and they all look and
yep.
Hello, did you miss me?
That is really good.
It is, and he really embodies that. He was a person before he was regenerated from a different body, and he is a continuation of the next person. He takes that on, runs with it full force, and it's so believable. I mean, for as unbelievable as a concept that is, you about believe it when it's coming from David Tennant. Davros.
Now,
proper Davros.
Thank you. Yes,
proper Davros.
So now what I liked is simply the fact that even though this is a Christmas special, there's a little bit of a moral in this. Yes, the Sycorax were scary looking, and they made their threats to conquer the Earth, but Harriet Jones gives the order to commit genocide on them.
And that's not the doctor.
And
no guns, no killing, no nothing.
And when the doctor's like, "Oh, you're right. I should have told them not to just go away. I should have told them to run away, because the real monsters are here, the human race."
Yep.
So, and that's what I like about is, again, the Russell T and the Moffat before Russell T became Russell T now, is there is a little bit of like a moral, the message packed into a lot of these episodes.
Yeah. And it is kind of a weird thing too, because it comes right after he throws the Satsuma and hits the button and knocks the guy off the edge and says, no second chances. It's just dead cold. But he's willing to do that for somebody he gave a chance to, but he's not obviously not going to. They gave a chance to all the other guys to leave, and they're doing it. And so you get to see that he's both just like this cold, will do what I need to do to protect people I care about, but also he doesn't just go around murdering everybody.
No,
right.
Not at all. He's very, very against murder. He hates guns. Does not like guns at all.
That's why he has a screwdriver. That's why he's screwdriver. It's a tool.
And that's a very British thing. It's a very British concept.
Well, they don't like their gun. They like their gun laws. They don't like.
Right. Exactly. So I mean that's part of it. But still, even though you have a show where the main character's not going around blasting everybody to death, he's sonicking people. He's not even sonicking people, just sonicking things.
You know who this is, right?
Even if you have a character who doesn't just go around blasting, killing everyone, he's still compelling. There's still action, and you're still really involved in the story. Fantastic stuff.
Yes.
He does. This is the beginning of the end for Harriet Jones, because he ends her entire career.
We know who you are.
With the 6 words.
You're right. Not one word. 6 words.
6
Don't
words.
you think she looks tired?
Don't you think she looks tired?
So great.
And yet every appearance afterward is Harriet Jones, former Prime Minister. Yes.
Former Prime Minister. We know who you are.
Even the Daleks. Yes, we know who you are.
I love it. But yeah, definitely one of my favorite episodes. One of my favorite Christmas episodes. Probably one of my favorite Doctor Who episodes in general. Yes, very iconic look for David Tennant there.
Yes.
So moving on, what's some of your guys' favorite Christmas specials? Of course, we got The Runaway Bride. That's kind of the introduction of Donna before she's a companion.
Well, if we're going with the Tennant episodes, I might say the voyage of the Damned.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That was cool.
Which did not have Rose, did not have any companions, did not have anyone we were going to see later except Wilfred Mott.
Wilfred Mott. Yep. Yes, Wilfred Mott's in that episode. And this is kind of a darker Christmas episode. I mean, you really think about it. It gets dark. When you think Christmas specials, you think
right,
Happy Good Times,
right?
Not The Voyage of the Damned. No, not at all.
Yeah.
Well, you kind of got that also with The Runaway Bride before this one.
Yes,
it's because both times you're dealing with a companionless doctor.
Yeah,
and
right.
He needs that humanity there to kind of balance him out, because he's carrying, especially this iteration, he's carrying kind of that's a little bit more of the spirit of the War Doctor in him still.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
right.
He is, and you see this kind of comes up with more Christmas episodes. Most of the Christmas episodes, he does not have a companion.
Yeah,
a fair bit of
the fair bit.
Even the next one.
Yeah,
even the next one. I mean, the next Doctor, I don't believe he has a companion. I might be wrong. I don't think he does though, because he's
Matt
chasing
Smith?
around. No, that's not Matt Smith. The next, no. Oh, is that? No,
the next Doctor is the name of the episode.
It's the name of the episode. I'm sorry.
Okay.
That's my bad. The next Christmas special after Voyage of the Damned.
Oh,
is
yes.
the next Doctor. The impersonator guy.
Yes.
He doesn't have a companion there.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Now, in the time, you can say he has a companion because he's taking Wilf around with him.
Right.
Yeah. Right. That's one of those life-changing episodes, if you will, of Doctor Who, or world-shifting episodes. Voyage of the Damned is awesome. I hate he loses Astrid. Astrid has to die. That was sad.
which had that character not have to die, because I think it's Kylie DeMinow, right?
Yes, I believe so.
Yeah, who plays her. She would have been a pretty hot companion for the next few. I mean, I'm just saying
you're wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not saying you're wrong. I hate she had to die. She took a forklift over a thing, the ledge. To save
the Doctor.
But to save the doctor. Yeah.
Yeah. It becomes one of the many times where he almost had an out to save everybody, but he couldn't.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then he loses
kind of his curse.
And then he loses someone over it.
Yes.
Right.
When you see like the very end of David Tennant's run as the Doctor, he gets dark, man. He gets dark.
Are you talking the Waters of Mars?
Yes, the Mars episode where he's like, I'm gonna go back. Yeah, go back and I'm gonna right this wrong, and then she ends up killing herself. It's like, oh my god, like
that took a dark turn. That took a dark turn,
dude. That's probably one of the. I think it's one of the darkest. It might be the darkest Doctor Who episode. It's got to be up there. That one's.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Does that fall right before the end of time?
Mm-hmm.
I think so.
Okay, because that makes a lot more sense when he's sitting there with Wilf and he breaks down crying, basically saying he's done some things and he just kind of goes.
And I could do so much more. I could do so much more.
It's like,
so much more, but you had to get stuck, didn't you?
It's those last 4 or 5 episodes of Tennant's that are. I think they're all a little bit over an hour long, and they're all like he has no companion. He's traveling on his own. He's on his own journey, and he's just in this world of turmoil.
Yeah, that was a weird production time where it was basically just all specials.
Yes, it was.
And he's traveling alone.
I think they were all like an hour and a half.
Yeah, something like that.
There was the Planet of the Dead where he has another possible companion, but she is like, but the Doctor's like, no, you're kind of criminally, so I'm gonna let you. I'm just gonna leave you.
Yeah. But it does get extremely dark. But the Voyage of the Damned is kind of, I wouldn't say the first, because I mean he left Rose in the other world. She didn't die, so it wasn't like he lost
that
her
scene though. But that scene,
Doomsday,
when the breach seals up, and then the very next thing is just Rose just pounding on the wall.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's sad, man. You can feel it. Oh, he loved it.
Yeah.
There are plenty of moments in this show that still get me. I don't even have to watch the entire episode. I just watched that one scene where I'm looking around like nobody sees this.
We're gonna get to 2 of those that still to this day I get.
Yeah.
No, I'm fine. Just piece of dust. It's dust in the eye.
Like, I wouldn't say any of the Christmas episodes are like that for Tennant. Like,
no, Matt Smith, yes.
Matt Smith, yes.
I don't know.
Tear freaking jerkers.
But
Matt,
and I guess we can start with Matt Smith, and I would say an absolutely beautiful. Well, okay.
Well, I mean, let's talk the end of time, parts 1 and 2 before we hit that, though, because I think that's worth mentioning. That's worth mentioning because I mean, it culminates. I mean, we don't talk about it long, but I mean, it culminates into the next iteration of the Doctor.
I don't want to go. Right.
I don't want to go.
And
that is a
it's that sad. Well, that entire setup is because he knows he's dying.
He knows
he's dying, so he he goes into the TARDIS, and he
Yeah.
goes to see all his friends and just
Yeah.
set them on the right.
Yeah.
Set them
And he
on,
can't. And
on-
he
on the
can't
path.
interact with Donna. He's not allowed to interact with Donna so much because it'll kill her.
So, right.
And
So,
unravel time.
so he gives the lottery numbers that he picks to
Yeah.
Wilfred and her mom.
that he
And-
bought with money from her dad.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Right. And then the Wilfred at the end, he gets in the TARDIS and just stands out there, and the Wilfred.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
then
his whole the whole farewell tour, but especially culminating with Wilf not
Rose.
just saluting, but then like blowing a kiss, and then from
Yes.
that point on, you just might as well just let all the walls
Yeah.
down because it's not
Yes.
going to get any easier going forward from
No.
there.
Right.
and then you get Rose
Then you get Rose.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
And then Rose she returned.
right before she meets Nine. It's like the day before she meets Nine.
Yeah.
And it is just wow. And then as he's walking back to the TARDIS, there's the Ood saying, the song, your part in the song is over,
It's over.
but the song never ends. Alaska Jeff, well, what's up, man?
What's going on, man? Thank you for joining. First time to the chat, if I'm not mistaken. Thank you.
Yes, it is. Okay, Alaska Jeff is the guy who did the Harley Quinn and Punchline design for my shirts, which are available till the 20th of December. All proceeds go to the Stuttering Foundation of America. So there you go.
Heck yeah, definitely good
Excellent.
cause. That's a good plug. That's a good plug.
Thank you.
Hashtag keep talking, baby. All for the
That's
Stuttering
right.
Foundation. You've done some great work for them, man. That's
Thank
awesome.
you.
Yeah, I respect.
And then as Tenet walks in, throws his jacket,
Yeah,
and the music's swelling, and Murray Gold, just his score is just amazing.
yeah.
And then he just says, "I don't want to
I
go,"
don't want to go.
and then the music just swells, and it's almost
It's
godlike.
emotional, dude. It is, and it just everything is just you feel everything in that moment. All the interactions he's just had with all the companions, all the things that he's been through. I mean, the darkness, the just bad things that he's tried to do and wanted to do, and all these because he's had thoughts where he's like, man, I'm just gonna play God and I'm gonna make the decisions now. I'm not gonna
Waters of Mars.
yeah, that was his goal at his end, and it all just culminates into that final moment when he turns.
I like to think that regeneration in particular, because we know that regeneration energy can be incredibly destructive, but I'd like to think that one in particular was so destructive because he was fighting it off for so long.
Yeah,
It was like
Maybe,
shaking
yeah.
up a soda bottle, and he
Right.
just reached the point where he couldn't hold it anymore, and it just
right.
basically destroyed the TARDIS.
Spoilers.
We'll get to her later. But I find that it's funny that like he didn't age. Where like later on we see like Matt Smith's Doctor, he did age.
Well, yeah, because as we will get into that episode, up until
I
that
think-
point, he was at the end of his regeneration
I think that was his last regeneration.
Yeah.
That's
cycle. Right.
You're right. So yeah, yeah, that's
And
right.
Speaking of Mr. Matt Smith,
Yeah. See, look, perfect timing.
I have 3 of my favorite Christmas episodes come from Matt Smith. One being
How many did he
just
have?
an
You could have had, but 4 maybe.
he had I believe I think he had 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had 4, but all 3 of his were these 3 were just amazing. And the first one is just absolutely magical. The one that I love one of the ones that I love the most is the Christmas Carol.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely just magical. And again, talking about moments that get me misty-eyed it's right at the end when when Abigail comes out of her ice casket and says, "This is the important thing to do for Christmas Day," and just the story behind this is, I mean, you've got to suspend your you got to suspend your disbelief a little bit because
Doctor Who. Come on, man. Yeah.
I mean, especially in this one, because when he leaves old Kazran and he's watching the little like home movie thing, and then he shows up in outside young Kazran's the window, and he's like, "That never happened." But it did. So in one night, this man gets a lifetime of memories, which as he's looking through the mementos, all those things will just have to materialize out of nothing.
Nothing.
So I mean, it is kind of weird, but I love it because it's an interesting look at the real time rewriting of somebody's history, and right. I kind of see it as like that projection. So that could just be like a visual representation. I almost kind of see it like it's just there for the audience to keep track of. That's what he's seeing in his head more than what he's actually seeing projected on the wall.
Yeah,
right. Like that story's playing out and actively changing in his head.
Yeah,
and I love the intro. The ship has entered the cloud belt. Amy comes out in her telegram outfit. Rory comes out dressed as a Roman. Luggage.
Honeymoon suite?
Yeah. Honeymoon suite. And then they're going down. And then we have an incoming message this is coming from outside. Come along, pond. What does that mean? It's Christmas.
It's Christmas. Oh, man. And I will say, though, and Amy and Rory, I feel like there's a weird relationship between the Doctor and them, because he doesn't just take them along everywhere all the time.
And the ponds.
Like the other.
And the ponds.
Yeah, the ponds.
Well,
he didn't take them everywhere all the time like the other companions. He takes them on an adventure and then leaves them for a while, and then comes back and then leaves them for,
Well, because it's mostly Amy that goes, and the Rory sometimes tags along.
Right.
But that episode, and then it's
the more you got into it, the more he came along,
Right.
Especially after he came back to the Centurion, he
right.
It was almost every time. But
and then the moment when we get the explanation of Abigail, that she was near death when she went into the ice, and so every time she comes out, she loses a day, and it's down to one day, and Kazran's been holding that one day forever.
And what is it with these? But sad Christmas story.
But it poses a very interesting question. How do you choose that one day?
Yeah.
That last day, that your last day to spend with someone you love. How do you choose? If you could choose that one day, which day?
Yeah. And the moment the Doctor realizes what he has to do at the end, and realizes that he's changed this man for the better, only to make him suffer even more.
Right.
And just in general, can we just appreciate how amazing it is to watch Matt Smith act across from Michael Gambon?
Wow.
Yeah.
Those two guys.
Fantastic. Oof. Michael Gambon, he fantastic actor all around. Oof. Ladder Dumbledore, so I like to call him.
And the one thing, as we talked about David, with the banter back and forth, Matt does that well. Also does that well. But Matt's biggest strength were those little the monologues that
Yeah,
that he would have.
I agree.
Oh, and we're going to get to one of those.
Yeah,
Oh,
but I
yes.
feel you there, man. I feel you there because I do think you're right. David Tennant, his relationships with other people really define his doctor. Like all those different connections. Even in that final episode, he's going and tracing them all down. That's what made his doctor. Matt Smith, while yes, like the Ponds, Clara for a little bit, it's all there. They have chemistry and it works really good. But it's the things that he does kind of by himself that make him the doctor he is. Like Amy Pond does not define him as a doctor. Where I would say Rose Tyler definitely defines Tennant as a
and
doctor.
Donna, right?
And
Rose
Donna defines him as a doctor. Martha not so much.
No.
And it was still good. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that
Right.
made that bad, but those relationships and the relationships he's fostered with all these people is what really makes his doctor who he is. Whereas Matt Smith's doctor is definitely it's what he just does by himself, like riding in on an ostrich with a fez on, or whatever he's doing, or camel, whatever he's doing.
It's kind of like, I mean, especially after all the darkness that you saw Tennant's doctor go through, it's like a reset where he has let go of all that. He still carries it, but he like surrounds it with childlike wonder.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So whereas like Tennant's doctor would run off and like do these really weird tangents, but they were always like a focused tangent or tangents, if that makes sense. Matt Smith's,
it made sense to him, and it made sense to us.
Yeah. But Matt Smith's doctor, he'll go off on all this stuff, and it's just basically to keep himself entertained.
Yeah.
Bunkers, right?
Or as distraction to cover up what he's actually doing, and like we agreed, it's kind of childlike.
Yeah, it is.
Well, yeah, because as it got later, it got later put into words. Tennant is the man who regrets. Smith is the man who forgets.
Yeah.
Like
I can
that.
agree with that. And I will say, but Matt Smith does have those every once in a while. He'll have like one of those like really like beyond his years kind of.
Oh yeah, they're
real like deep old soul kind of moments here and there.
Right.
And, well, you get that. Plus, you also still have the braggadocious moments, like his introduction to that alien in his first episode, or when basically everybody is circling the planet trying to come down, and he's just yelling at the sky, challenging them.
Right, challenging everybody.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
He's still got that fire in there.
And I'm gonna say, man, my favorite two. Those are my favorite two, and they go back and forth. Christopher Eccleston, I think if he had more time as the doctor, he'd be up there too.
Well, he and Davies didn't get
no, and he was fantastic,
like
doctor.
each other.
Oh,
and
but anyway.
just to just for my final thoughts on the Christmas Carol episode, as someone who has worked holidays pretty much my entire adult working life, with few exceptions of a year here or a year there, holidays kind of just become another day to me.
Yeah. And
this episode really brings back of, it's not about how much the money you have. It's not about how much you spend or the size of the gifts or how many gifts. It's the memories that you have. And that's what Kazran got, was memories and memories and memories. And his final day with the woman he loves, you get to see something that town hadn't seen in a long time, when the clouds unlock and it's snowing at Christmas time, and you have 4,000 people who live, and it's just, I get a little misty every now and then. And the gal who plays Abigail is actually a very well-known Welsh operatic aria singer. So that's actually her singing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed that special for sure.
And then we go
tearjerker.
then we go from from a very happy, uplifting one to kind of a dark and creepy. From my favorites of the Christmas specials, that being the snowman.
Yeah, because in between those you have the doctor, the window, and the wardrobe.
The wardrobe, right?
Yeah, and it was kind of that more uplifting.
But this one, was
snowman.
Now since we the audience are seeing this from an outside perspective, the first time we see Lara, it's like, oh, Souffle Girl.
Well, we've seen her. Yeah, we've seen her.
But the doctor.
Because we do have retreads. There are some folks that retread in the series as different people. It happens.
Right.
There's a small pool of actors over there. Anyone that you've ever seen,
it's Karen Capaldi have retreaded.
Yeah, I was going to say Capaldi. Capaldi was like the
Pompeii.
The Pompeii guy. That I want to.
I like how they worked that into the story.
So was Karen too. She was.
Karen, correct.
Was in that episode as well. So we had seen. So we had seen Jenna Coleman in the premiere episode of that season with the asylum of the Daleks.
That's right.
So you get this wonderful, cute little story, which turns into a monster story, which turns into the reveal of the new interior of the TARDIS.
Yep.
And you know that this girl is special when she is like, but it's so. Go on, say it. Most people do, and she runs around it, and the song, it's called Next Stop Everywhere, plays, and she runs in and goes, smaller on the outside, and he's like, okay, that is a first.
That's a first, yeah. And she is, man. I mean, Clara's something else, man. She's, this is not the first time we meet the London Underground, is it? Madame Vastra and Jenny. Is it? I think it is. I think it's the first time we see them. I might be. I could be wrong. But I do think it's the first time we see them as well. Because I remember this whole collective of characters is kind of the second half of Matt Smith's tenure. Right. It's kind of this is a shift even, kind of from Amy and Rory to the Clara era.
Which where the Doctor is at this time. This has been years after the Angels take to Manhattan, where Rory and Amy are taken by the Angels, and this nearly breaks him. I mean, because he and Amy were like this.
Yeah, he's just retreated from the world completely.
Right. He's kind of like on that same trajectory that David Tennant was on, but not quite as dark. I mean, he wasn't trying to like change history and kill people.
Right.
Yeah.
he was just
retreating from the world. Yeah.
And
he Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Put an Obi-Wan on it.
And then you get Strax. So
yeah,
I would like to formally express my disapproval of your current apathy. Okay. So I disapprove of your current apathy. Okay, I'm the clever one. You're the potato one.
It's Strax, man.
Do you want me to get the worm? Do we get the worm, sir?
Just because I just got to get this out there, because if I don't, somebody's going to crucify us in the comments. A Good Man Goes to War was the first time that we saw.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dang. See, look, I've already said, me and JV talked on the phone for about 20 minutes earlier today, and I told him over the phone, I'm like, look, I'm gonna have to go back and watch all of Doctor Who now that we're having.
Yeah, it's been a while since I've done it.
It's been a while since I've done a watch through. So now I'm like, man, it's about that time.
Max,
It's on Max. Well, I own them.
Yeah, it's on Max.
I own them on Vudu.
So
So it doesn't matter to me.
So yes, and then so you get this. So Clara's kind of doing the double life. She works at a bar and where she has her Cockney accent, and then she's a governess of this the military person and his children, which actually is they actually play that very straight, because in actuality the aristocrats, their children had a better usually had a stronger relationship with the governess than their own moms and dads.
We were with them for. I mean, they were like a nanny. I mean, they were just
right.
They were there for the kids all the time.
And the voice of the great intelligence, Ian, it's Gandalf.
Yeah, Ian McClellan.
Yes.
Which
is fantastic. Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which again is just wonderful.
Good tidbit. Yeah.
So then, and I'm just gonna say, the moment when Clara is on the table and they've shut off the device, so she's dying.
Yeah.
And he gives her the key. I never know when, but I always know who. And then she says, "Run, you clever boy, and remember." Yeah. And I am losing it at this point. And then they go to see her grave. They watch the family. They're paying their last respects, and then the doctor looks at the name on the grave, Clara Oswald. Yeah. And then he finally puts it. He started to put it, and he's like, "No, something is happening. Something impossible."
She's a convergence in the Force.
You two, don't move.
Yeah.
Stay right there.
Right here.
Are you coming back? Probably not.
Yeah, I love that. It just immediately triggers an obsession in his head. He's like, I have to figure this out.
Yeah, I gotta who she is.
And then Jenny's like, and the best part about Who is it's a show, time travel. There's just suspense, disbelief at all costs. With the side characters of Doctor Who, they're us. They're the ones asking the questions that we would answer. So when Jenny goes, what does this mean? And Vastra goes, maybe the universe does make bargains. And I was like, whoa, Clara, Oswald, watch me run.
Right.
I love it.
And this is what sets off the whole. This is where Clara gets interested. I mean, she was interesting in this whole thing and then before, but this is where it really takes off with the Impossible Girl thing. I love it.
Best companion of all.
Yeah. I can see why you think that. I can see that. Oh.
Okay, this might derail things, and I apologize, but slightly. Okay. Do you think that they should have let her die?
Well, she was ready to leave the show at one point.
But I know, but like story wise, I just thought it cheapened the sacrifice.
Oh, well, okay. So you're talking about the moment where Clara is literally a moment in time, and she's in a TARDIS with Maisie Williams.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like she now exists.
Yeah.
She doesn't breathe or have a heartbeat because she's frozen and removed from time.
Right.
I wasn't a big fan of that. No, I liked her character overall, but I thought it was a weird choice.
Yeah.
Yes.
I can agree with that.
And so anyway. So then there's that. So yeah, and not this is not a Christmas episode, but after seeing in the in Capaldi's run season, his first season, episode 4, listen, just confirms why Clara is the most important companion of all.
Yeah.
Because
Forgot about that.
without her, there is no Doctor.
Yeah.
Yep.
She's the voice.
Mm-hmm.
Well, do we want to get out the tissues and get into the time of the Doctor?
Yeah, I mean that kind of propels us right into the time of the Doctor, man. Because this one, oh my gosh, this is one of my favorite episodes of Doctor Who.
Oh, it's an amazing episode.
Yeah,
This
absolutely.
This is what this episode because I was Tennant. I love Tennant.
I did as well.
This moment here, especially at the end, was when I fell in love with Matt Smith as the Doctor.
Yeah, which is bad because that's where it ended.
Yeah, I know. so even in an episode like this, and there's the thing about this episode is there's fan service done in this episode that is not jangling keys. It is vital to the story, and it moves the story. And so it's not just
that's much like David Tennant's Last Christmas. I mean, there's those little callbacks. You go and see Mickey, and you go and you see Rose, and you see Donna, and you
Captain
see Donna's
Jack.
mom, and you see Jack Harkness. You see all these things, but it serves the story. It doesn't serve the fans only. It serves the story. And that there's good fan service. There's good fan service, and the fan service has to serve the fans and the story. That's what makes a good fan service.
Yeah.
So we started it off with handles right here.
Oh, yeah.
Doctor with handles. So, and even in this episode, there's moments of humor that is just wonderful.
Yeah.
Where the phone rings, he's reaching out, grabs the phone.
Yeah.
Hello, this is the Doctor speaking. You're my boyfriend. Ding dong. How?
Yeah.
Yeah, all throughout the episode and throughout Matt Smith's run, you could tell he always had a blast with what he was doing.
Yeah.
But it's almost like you can feel it more in this, knowing that this is going to be his outro.
And,
I mean, even down there dancing around with the kids and things like that, and the kids in the village. It's just
he goes all in, and as he ages, and you see the aging process, and even when he's aging, he's got that childlike wonder.
To use a sports term, he left it on the field.
He left it on the field. He did. And so you've got the whole Trenzalore thing going over in his mind, and this is where the Doctor dies.
Okay, let me just go there. Okay. So
yeah, that's where we're going.
Just wow. So at first, it's this little harmless, farm planet, whatever that they're that they're talking to Tasha Lem, who's the head of the papal mainframe, the big intergalactic security church. Okay, sure.
Yeah.
We'll go with that. We encounter a weeping angel in there, and that's terrifying. Right. There. And then we're talking whatever. The Doctor brings his TARDIS down because he's got a key in the quiff move. Classic. Your ears look like rocket fins.
Yeah.
I know.
I
So they go in. They go into this barn, and you see the crack, and I know I was just like, whoa, no, that's not good. That's not good. The crack.
I think my reaction was something very similar to when the Titanic crashed into the TARDIS. What?
What?
So then you get Tasha Lem in a hologram saying, "Face me, Doctor, face me." And then, because they're in the town called Christmas. In a town called Christmas, which is under a truth field. So you can't lie there.
Can't lie there. Can't lie on Christmas.
So he asks Tasha, "What's the name of this planet? What planet is this?" And she pauses for that brief second, and then she just says, Trenzalore. Doctor Who fans are just like,
oh my God.
No!
Oh my God.
Like, what? What?
He's been here the whole time.
And so
Yeah.
he sends Clara away to protect her. Because that's what he does. That's what he does. He loves her. That's his pal. That's his ride or die. He sends her away. And then she comes back, and it's been 300 years. But because she's in the temporal, she's outside of she's actually outside of time, right, holding on to the TARDIS for when it's cold. So she's a little chilly.
Yeah.
And then she gets to see how this planet kind of works. The sun rises and sets in a matter of like 20 minutes. So this is always perpetual night. Hey, Jacob Ironside, what's up, man?
Hey, what's up, buddy?
Thanks for joining.
So then you got this. The Doctor's been kind of keeping the peace by keeping
the peace.
Well, he's been keeping quiet too. So you've got Centaurans trying to break through, Cybermen trying to break through. He's installing windows everywhere for the angels.
Great.
And then he sends her off again, and she's even more upset. And we get this lovely little story with this lovely little moment with her family that where her grandmother's talking about when she met her grandfather. It's just this beautiful little story. We hear the TARDIS again. She grabs a cracker and heads back to, and Tasha Lem is flying the TARDIS because that's easy. It's flying the Doctor that was hard.
That was hard.
Hey, hey.
I don't know, man. The doctor might say that it might be a little hard to be flying the TARDIS. He didn't even know how to do it properly. You know what I'm saying? So, what's going on? Thank you for joining.
So then we finally get when Tasha says, he shouldn't be alone now. And we see the Doctor. And he's old.
He's old. And we think this is it.
And when they break the cracker open and she reads that poem and it's Ode to 11, I'm starting already. I'm just like, hey, Matt.
We're not even talking about. We're talking about the ones we like. This is old Christmas specials. We hadn't even seen the new ones.
So, and
the current specials. Sorry,
right. And then the
current specials.
And then the Daleks are appearing, and the Doctor will come forth.
Yeah.
And so he's like, all right.
Hey, did you play the Daleks? That was awesome.
Thank you.
It's probably the cold in the cinder soul. That's what it is. It's the cold in the cinder soul that makes you be able to do that.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
So then another thank you. So then we get this other moment where Clara insists on going up to the roof with him, and he says no, because I'll be saving you. Another win. Allow me that. Give me that. They hug, and he says, "My impossible girl." Oof. And then Clara talks to the Time Lords on the other side of the dimensional rift, and it's just, look, you lot, get your shit together, okay, and help him.
Yeah,
we get it.
She's like, because I love him, and you should love him too.
You should love him too.
Right.
then it just snaps shut. Like it seems like they just cut him off and said, we don't care anymore.
Then the crack comes out in the sky.
Yeah.
Well, even before we get to that, I like the fact that he goes up there all old and feeble.
And he's talking shit. And just talking shit.
Yeah, he's like, you still haven't done anything because you think I might still have something. And then he gets real quiet.
My
He's
sleeve.
like, but I don't. I've got nothing.
Just shoot me.
Yeah.
I'm old.
He's
old
giving
age.
in. And I do really love that when that crack snaps back open and he gets that extra regeneration juice. Yeah. He's got the prosthetics on doing everything, but Matt Smith is really emoting age and being weary. But then his eyes open up and you see the youth again immediately, even though he's still got the old man face. He's like, wow, this is going to be fun.
New regeneration cycle. Don't tell me the rules.
It's so good.
Yeah, it is. And I will say, this is Matt Smith is where the budget really came in for Doctor Who. Christopher Eccleston's season. Yeah, Christopher Eccleston's what was it, 14 episodes he was in?
12, I think. 12 or
12. Something like
12
that.
or 16, I think.
Anyways, I think it was 16. I can't remember. Anyways, those look really, the story's good. The budget isn't there, and then you get a little bit better with David Tennant. You still, it's good. By the end of David Tennant's run, it's really good, but it really goes.
But the best part about this is that's not why you tuned into this show.
That's not why.
Was not why. For the special effects.
But it was the better they get to
great characters in a great story. Right.
It was.
It just helps
accentuates it. Yeah.
It accentuates it.
Yeah.
And I've mentioned it a couple places before, but a Matt Smith episode is how I choose to introduce people to Doctor Who that have never watched it.
Yeah.
Specifically the Vincent Van Gogh episode.
Nice.
Because if you just start from the beginning with 9 with Eccleston, that's kind of a rough entry. It still has some of the goofiness that the older stuff has.
Very sci-fi.
It's low budget.
Very sci-fi.
So, but if you show them like this is where this is headed, trust me, and then you can get people hooked on it.
Yeah.
Nice.
Van Gogh episode is one of my favorites as well. I love it. Yeah, trying to
and then this
help Amy out
and then this episode ends. This episode ends with one of the biggest, just heartstring, just rip your heart out. Clara walks into the TARDIS. First, she hangs up the phone, which in the first episode of Capal, all these episodes is a very significant thing.
Significant, yeah.
She's looking around. There's clothes on the ground, and then we see young Matt Smith again. Yeah. But we also see a bowl of fish sticks and custard.
Yeah.
Nice little callback there. And then we find out that this is just the reset. He's breaking the whole new cycle.
Right.
And then it just goes into, it all just disappears, doesn't it? Everything you are gone in a moment, like breath on a mirror. Yeah. Any moment now, he's a-coming. The Doctor.
The Doctor.
But times change, and so must I. And then he sees Amelia. He is hallucinating.
Amelia, yeah.
And sees Amelia. The first face this face saw. And then just this line. We all change when you think about it. We're all different people all through our lives. And that's okay. That's good. You got to keep moving so long as you remember all the people that you used to be. I will not forget one line of this. Not one day. I swear. I will always remember when the Doctor was me. That alone, I'm misty-eyed at this point. And the music's swelling. And then freaking Stephen Moffat just takes a dagger and just stabs it into everyone's heart. Yeah. So I'll let the one of you two continue this because
They didn't get the regeneration.
Well,
Well, no,
I just want to say before I touch on that, I just want to say I'm glad you read that quote because I had it pulled up because I was going to be damned if we finished this stream out and didn't actually quote those lines.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, he sees Amy Pond, Karen Gillian come walking down the stairs, and they get to have their proper goodbye.
Yeah, that's right.
Raggedy.
I mean, I watched that segment today because, of course, I'm not going to skip over that ending. And I've seen it many times, and I'm still sitting there going, God damn it.
Yeah, now.
Why would you do that?
Right now.
Yeah. And this is like I said, this is one of my favorite episodes of Doctor Who.
Oh, so good.
And that monologue, gosh, man. I mean, it's.
And this isn't pulling at heartstrings just for the sake of making you feel emotional. This is good character payoff.
Yes.
It is. Because we know in his run, we get the whole story of the War Doctor and John Hurt's Doctor and who he was. We found that out before this. So
the name of the Doctor.
The name of the Doctor. Yeah. So we have all this kind of wrapped up, and this is what everything's been building to since the beginning of Doctor Who. Honestly,
and this right and right before this episode was the 50th anniversary episode. Oh yes, very much so, Matt.
Yeah,
agreed.
Which I believe is Karen Gillan's cousin. I believe.
There's only so many redheads in the UK, man.
Which another note, the little girl from the Snowmen is the one who plays young Lily Potter in the Harry Potter films.
Oh,
like I said, dude, that does not surprise me. Anytime you say someone from Doctor Who was in something else British, well, duh.
Or Game of Thrones, right? Or Game of Thrones or something. Yeah, exactly.
George Weasley is Rory's dad. Okay, we know. You know, I mean, we know.
Yeah. So this is just such.
But this is kind of the payoff for the last two Doctors, really the last three, even though John Hurt was only in the special. But for really where we began with New Who, this was the big payoff for that kind of era. After this, it shifts for me. So
I would say the shift comes in the 50th anniversary episode where 11 is talking to 4. That is just
I agree.
Who knows?
But this is even a payoff to that. Even just this Doctor's regenerate, getting the new regeneration cycle, all of that is like it's like a soft reboot. It really is.
Right.
I mean,
and then in the very first Capaldi episode, right at the end when Clara's phone rings and she answers, and it's Matt Smith calling her from Trenzalore.
Yeah.
Before she walked into the TARDIS, that's why she hangs up the phone because he's
brilliant.
Stop it.
Yeah.
Ooh. And we got some background on
there you go.
Yeah, I looked it up too. Apparently, they as cousins, they hadn't actually met until Karen suggested her for the role.
Oh, really? Wow.
At least, I guess not old enough to where she remembered her cousin, but yeah.
We're estranged, but she kind of looks like me and she's little, so you can both.
Okay.
But man, like I said, this is a culmination of all the Doctor Who since like the 2005 Who till now.
Then you get the episode where Clara almost left, but they rewrote the Dream Crab episode when she decided to stay on.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So the fake out ending was supposed to be the real ending.
It was supposed to be the real ending. That's correct.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yep, that's what happened, man. And I tell you, if you don't kind of happen upon this stuff, you don't know it. I mean, you would
Right.
never know it because of the wackiness of Doctor Who, and that's part of the draw for me is the wackiness and the believability, and it's all still really good storytelling, even though it's so out there. So, do you guys have any favorites of Capaldi's Christmas episodes?
I like the Dream Crab one, but my personal favorite episode, there are two of just Capaldi's run in general.
Yeah.
That would be Listen.
Mm-hmm. So we're talking about Christmas, but okay.
Right. And then the episode where he sees a young boy who's on a planet and he's like scared or whatever, and so he asks the boy his name, and he says, "My name is Davros."
Davros.
Yeah.
You said what? Your name is what?
What?
Yeah.
Oh gosh, yeah.
How's it again, Beard? How's that again?
I don't even remember exactly what I just said. I was already going on to the next thing in my brain.
Oh, okay.
Sorry. I second guess everything I say in every conversation. So when I'm on a live stream, I have to basically turn off the part of my brain that remembers what just came out of my mouth, or I'm going to start going over that.
We got Matt and Jacob doing the heavy lifting here in the chat. So thank you guys for looking that stuff up.
Of Capaldi's Christmas specials, I've only seen 3. I have not seen Twice Upon a Time because I could not bear to see him get replaced.
I haven't. Yeah, I've seen it the once.
But I just don't. Of the 3, Last Christmas, Husband's River Song, and Return of Dr. Mysterio, he just didn't have anything that hit nearly as hard. That was a tough season. Those last couple of seasons of Smith, that's a tough act to follow for Christmas specials.
It is.
You're not touching that stuff in anything.
Yeah.
And there are ones I like. The one that sticks out to me, I do like the Husbands of River Song. I think that's.
I'll be right back, guys.
It's a good episode.
Okay.
I'll be right back.
That's a nice completion to her arc, because we all knew that it had to happen eventually.
It had to happen, and I'm glad we saw it. I'm glad she just did, because it was a long time. It's been a while since we'd seen that character. Long time. Yeah. And
what it makes it even actually weirder is that he was in a regeneration that he never thought he was going to get. So that adds even more to all the secrets that she had to carry for all these years, knowing that he was going to reach a point where he thought he was going to die.
Well, even when we see her, is it the Chris dang it, when do we see the time? We see her in the Time of the Doctor, I believe, right at the very
I think
end.
so.
She's in that one. She's kind of guiding all this. She's kind of guiding some of the stuff that's going on. But it's because she knows that he gets another one.
Yeah.
And he doesn't know that she knows, that. So it adds another layer.
Well, even though she's kind of described a little bit to him about what will eventually happen, obviously no big spoilers or anything, but I don't think he ever really knows if he can trust her. I don't think he ever really knows if what she's telling him is the truth.
Well, even in this episode, you start off and you're like, you've come to save my husband, and you're like, he's your what?
Yeah.
Don't you know who I am? It just kind of plays around that whole thing, and it is cool to see him kind of cat and mouse and try to say, hey, I'm not just a doctor, I'm the doctor. Don't you? And of course, it ends up we know why the things happen the way they do in that episode. But I can't agree with this, Matt. Most of the writing for Capaldi's Doctor was the worst. It just didn't, and that's why I say that last Christmas episode, the Time of the Doctor, really was a culmination of everything that we had seen since the reboot in 2005.
I mean,
I like Capaldi.
You can watch right up to that and just stop there, and you're fine. That is a perfect bookmark. And I mean, even Capaldi's stuff would be another good place, I think, to stop, because as weak as the writing was for him, it definitely didn't get better.
Yeah, that's what the little bits I've seen of Jodie's seasons is, I didn't like it. I didn't care for it.
Yeah,
it's like it's just I don't even know how to describe exactly how much it just changed. Not because I don't mind the doctor being a woman. I want that out. I don't care. That doesn't bother me. I mean, we knew it could happen. I think he even mentioned at some point that, hey, I've never been a woman or something like that. I know he said he's never been a ginger. He still hasn't been. Like, what's up with that? I want to see crap. What's his name? Ronald Weasley. Rupert Grint. Rupert Grint.
Yeah.
I want to see Rupert Grint come as the doctor. He's goofy, man. He'd be a good doctor. He might be too big for that. I don't know. You know, he was a Carter, but at the same time, I do think that Capaldi was a good doctor. I like the way he acted the doctor. The stories were not the same. They did not have the same punch, the same impact. I didn't feel like I cared as much at those big moments in his run, because Matt Smith and David Tennant had some huge moments and just break down, hit you right in your soul moments. Christopher Eccleston in the 12, 16, I don't know if we ever decided how many he did, but he only did, he did a season ish of the show, and even he has points in his 16 episode run that just hits you, and I don't feel like I got those same feelings out of Capaldi's run.
I mean, you can tell that he was trying with the material that he was given.
He was, and I started out, I did not like him at first at all. Like this first 10 episodes,
I loved him. I loved him.
His first 10 episodes, I was just kind of like,
he's kind of like me. He's kind of like me.
Yeah, he
grumpy old curmudgeon.
Maybe that's what it is. Maybe that's what it is. And that's not what turned me. I just felt disconnected. I don't know. I just didn't feel like everything connected.
No, it was such a shift from what we had just had.
It was. It was.
And I get why they did that, or at least the reasoning that they tried to write into why they went with it. Such a different character. Yeah. But I mean, I eventually did.
I think he got better as it went anyway. But
my thought was, since this was a brand new whole regeneration cycle, it was almost like back to one.
Yeah.
It was almost back to Hartnell, kind of.
Yeah. I mean, it had that kind of
good one,
kind of feeling. Let's see. This
one. That one's good.
Yeah. Yeah, that was very good.
That's one of the few instances in a TV show where a ticking clock is not just a useless trope, that it actually legitimately raises the tension.
Yes.
Yeah. That was a good episode. I'm just going
to go ahead and go on record that I kind of like Capaldi's, magician style look that people kind of laughed at him for. It's like,
I don't think
the black coat like opened up with the reds. Like,
yes.
I couldn't pull it off, but I want one.
I'm going to tell you this, man. Like, it's hard to like kind of goof on the way any doctor looks, man. They just dress however they want, and we go with it. But I think you look pretty slick. I didn't think.
I don't know.
When he gets to weird at the end, when his hair gets real long, I think it's a little strange.
Well, I don't know. I mean, Colin Baker, the celery stalk in his jacket pocket. That's an odd choice. I'm just saying.
But it works.
Did it though?
Oh goodness.
Right.
Yeah, and then
there you go, man.
Capaldi modeled his doctor after the first and third doctors with his own twist to it. And yeah, you can definitely see those influences. Definitely the Hartnell thing. Yeah, he's a little older. He's a little bit more crotchety.
Yeah.
Did you see some of that in his style too? They just kind of took like the Hartnell style, but added some modern flair to it.
Yeah.
Right.
And I really, and like I said, I did enjoy Capaldi as the doctor. I think the episodes didn't quite have the same punch, of course.
That's right. You're right, Matt.
Christmas specials.
You're right, Matt. That is true.
Wow.
Oh. That's horrible.
I know, right?
I like how
Screw that
we
guy.
came off of those like really strong, a lot to talk about Christmas episodes with Matt Smith, and now we're just talking general Capaldi because the Christmas
Yeah,
episode don't quite
because
hold
the
it up
Christmas
to what
episodes
they
are
were.
right. Like I said, I think the one that kind of holds them other. I mean, you know, the Twice Upon a Time. Of course, he regenerates, whatever.
Listen is my favorite.
Yeah.
Favorite.
Yeah.
Because I will say I am an unapologetic Clara Oswald show.
We know. You're sure. You hear that? You hear that world? Joker voice is a shield for something.
Right.
You hear that?
I mean, for one,
you heard it here first.
For one, since Asylum of the Daleks, I've loved that actress. Jenna Coleman is great. She's done a few things that I'm like, that's not the best choice there, Jenna. But ever since seeing her in the context of Who, she's amazing. And she was actually a better companion for Capaldi than she was Smith.
I think so too.
Yeah,
I can agree with that. Even though I liked her better, I like the story better with her and Smith together. I like that story better. I think
as a dynamic
duo.
She was kind of a balancing force.
Yeah, because you know Matt Smith and Amy, they had that.
That was something magical.
It was chemistry there. And then he gets Clara, and I mean it's not bad, but it doesn't have that same flair. It doesn't, because we already know that how he feels about Amy Pond, and even in his last moments, he creates her in his mind. So when that transition kind of comes over, it makes for a very good dynamic. I agree with that.
And I know that they did kind of retread the what kind of like with Tenets for when he regenerated into 10. Where Rose had kind of had that crisis of faith, like, is this the same person? I like that it is retreaded territory, but I like that it was more fleshed out with Clara because she knew about regenerations, but the character, the personality was so different.
Yeah. Right. And this was so far removed too. I mean, a lot has happened. Like a lot has happened. So I can.
Oh, Jacob, Leela.
I gotta go back and watch the classic stuff.
Yeah. Oh, the classic stuff's great. And you can say it's low budget all you want. It looks great for the time. It looks very good. It still holds up for me.
But again, that's not the reason why you keep going back.
Not.
Right.
It's not. I agree. I watch stuff with bad all the time and love it.
I mean, and
for Mighty Morphin Power Rangers 1996 or 95. Okay. Was that 95 or 96? The Mighty Morphin Power Rangers movie.
Oh, wow. Okay, yeah, that's not.
Calm down, JV. I grew up in the 90s, man. I was a Power Ranger kid. Still love it.
Hello, Pink Ranger.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Joe Johnson.
And later, Serena Vincent as the Yellow Ranger.
Yeah. Yeah. But anyways,
I'm just saying.
I digress. Yeah, I think so. I wanted to ask you guys this. I know this is more of a general who thing. I know this is kind of where we're at. You know, we're starting to kind of wrap this thing up. But when Clara came in the Asylum of the Dalek, was it always planned out for her to come back and be what she was?
Yes.
Was it? I didn't. Okay. I couldn't remember. I know I've read it before. I couldn't remember.
Yeah, I don't remember exactly the details when I found it, but there was some article or whatever that was talking about how it was they spoiled it for the next companion. But if you weren't in that sphere on the internet reading articles that are talking about how they ruined it by spoiling it, you wouldn't have known.
Right.
Because
you might have had questions on why she spiked the camera when she said that line.
Yeah.
But you know, Doctor Who leaves us with questions all the time that it might come back and answer, or it might just leave forever.
And plus, they would have to have planned that because that is the Impossible Girl arc.
Right.
Yeah,
that's correct.
I mean, that's definitely more integrated because it's not like with Donna where it was a one-off that just seemed to work really well, so they brought her back.
They brought her back.
Right.
Correct. Oh, here we go. Matt said,
Oh, yeah.
as far as Christmas
Yeah.
goes, I will admit to some nostalgia for Twice Upon a Time because of David Bradley's presence and the tie-in to the Brigadier and the World War One Christmas truce.
Mhm.
Yeah, I thought it was a good special. I thought it
Yeah.
was. Like I said, it just I think the best out of those four for me for Capaldi was definitely the Husbands of River Song, and it still wasn't, it was good. It was
I
good
love
to tie
Sweetie.
her story up like we were talking about. It's good to tie up her story. Knew it had to happen. Hadn't seen her in a while. It was a nice, refreshing episode for me, or special.
Yep.
But it didn't have that. It didn't have that punch like a lot of
That
them
punch.
do.
Exactly.
Plus, I'll admit, I'm a fan of what's his face, Nardole.
Oh yeah.
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 Yeah, I liked his addition. It was kind of
Yes.
nice to see that just oafish goofiness balanced against Capaldi's doctor.
Capaldi's
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Well, guys, I think we're coming to an end here on everything Doctor Who Christmas special related. I know we really dug into Tennant and Smith's 10 years because they're just the best. I mean, as far as Christmas special goes. So I can't,
Exactly.
Capaldi's good. He's a good doctor. It just didn't.
And Alaska Jeff, every season kind of starts with the same two words. Doctor.
Doctor Who?
Doctor Who?
Yeah.
Doctor Who?
Yeah.
Doctor
We get that from
Who?
Jackie at that first special.
Yes.
The doctor?
Then
What
Clara-
doctor? Doctor Who?
She instantly started liking him a lot better when he regenerated. That's all I'm gonna say.
Let's say she liked him before, whatever. You
Yeah,
know,
she did.
there's a man in my bedroom. Yes,
Yeah.
there is.
Yes, there is.
I'm in my dressing gown. Yes, you are.
Yeah.
Anything could happen. No.
Yeah. No.
But any final thoughts on the Doctor Who Christmas specials or anything of that? I know all three of us in this panel have not seen the Jodie Whittaker specials.
And I won't. And I refuse
I'm
to.
probably not going to touch in on it. I
My final thought.
don't want to bog that. I don't want to bog this down by bringing that up. I'm just going to say that.
Right.
That's a statement.
I guess my final thoughts is just fandom in general and where we've been, where we are now, and it's sad that these great worlds, these great characters have been sacrificed on the altar of the modern audience to reflect the world that we live in. These are just lies. The one fandom that has stood fast is Tolkien. And we need to be more like Tolkien fans if we want to protect these fandoms because they mean so much to us, and flatly reject what's coming
out.
And you shall not pass. So that's something that we can all learn from.
I can agree with that. I think it's a good statement.
I
Beard
don't
of
think
Liberty.
I have any final words that could be better than that. I completely
Wow.
agree. Gotta plant your foot, stand your ground.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Just like you said, we don't plan on watching the newer Who stuff that I'm not going to go back and watch the Jodie Whittaker stuff. I'm not. So I definitely agree with that statement. Thank you guys for coming on. Let's just go around.
My pleasure, man.
Again and talk about who you are, where you're from, where we can find you. Beard of Liberty. Where can we find you on the internet?
Well, right there on Twix. That's where we usually see announcements for whenever I show up on places, because I'm occasionally on with Roman of the Empire or Jacob Ironside. Like I'll be with him on Tuesday for a movie review. But normally you can find me on after the weekend every Monday for movie reviews, and then every other Saturday for what's in the news, pop culture, whatever the hell we want to talk about.
Yeah.
And that's
Weekend
with,
Harder.
Weekend Harder. And that's, of course, with R to the Icky and JT Gunn.
Yeah.
Two great guys.
Two characters.
Yeah.
Had some great interactions with both of those guys. I think JT's been on my show. I don't think R to the Icky. We're always on the same page. But awesome, folks. JV, where in the World Wide Webs can we find you?
Well, as I said, you can find me on YouTube at the Joker's Voice. Also, like I said, fundraiser going on through December 20th. Joker Voice merch links will be in all of my videos. Going to benefit the Stuttering Foundation of America. Tomorrow, dropping my 49th this year episode of last week's news. Now, I can't believe it's been that long already. The year's wrapping up quick here.
Yeah.
And then you can catch me streaming. I will be with Legion Talk on Monday and Friday. Monday is for Game of Thrones. We're on season 6. We'll be doing episodes 5 and 6. Friday is Friday night's Royal Rumble. Those are both at 7 p.m. Pacific starting time. And then Thursday I'll be on with Roman of the Empire for another free range stream, just talking about whatever pops into Roman's head, which you never know. That's a beehive of ideas, and he's just an amazing person. Hashtag keep talking, folks.
Heck yeah, hashtag keep talking. And before I sign myself off, I have to do this for JV. If you like both of these guys, if you've liked what you've seen here, you got to like and subscribe. And I just love doing that to irritate Joker.
God,
I love to see him squirm. But you can check Dork Wars Podcast out on dorkwarspodcast.com. Of course, there you can find everywhere that we stream, every podcatcher out there. We do our audio-only podcast that comes out every week. That's our main show. This is more of a fun hobby for me where I can have people on like Beards of Liberty and Joker Voice and do those kind of fun things. We do have a very special episode coming on tomorrow night. That will be Monday, December the 4th at 7:30 p.m. Eastern time.
Oh that was supposed to be tonight's show, but
it was
you
not
were afraid I was gonna send him home.
He was never coming on tonight. I switched it up.
Oh,
yeah, he told me Monday. I was catering to my friend.
I was gonna send
not my friend. I guess we're not friends. We barely talked, but he's coming on the show.
I was gonna send him home, crying to his mommy.
Well, anyways, it's Ryan Aries. Ryan Aries from Screen Crush is going to be on the show tomorrow night at 7:30 p.m. Eastern time. I don't want Joker to make my guests cry. Would it be funny? Maybe. It probably would be. But, it's not good for the brand. come on, Dork Wars, so you can cry. I don't know. But
good for me.
It's good for you. But anyways, thank you guys so much for coming on and listening to us. The chat's been great. Thank you everyone for stopping in. Please stop in again. Check out our stuff. Like and subscribe to the channel. Anything you do helps. Comments, everything. So thank you everyone for listening, and may the Force be with you.
Toodles!
Thank you for supporting Dork Wars, the podcast. You can check us out on Facebook.com/Dork Wars, the podcast. And if you would like to join in on the discussion or maybe suggest topics for us to discuss, please do so by joining our Discord community or sending us an email at dorkwarspodcast@gmail.com.